Summer is finally back! Woo! The season known for holiday, freedom from exams, and 35-degree heat waves which evaporate your skin cells. It's been a whopping 1 year since the last summer. Bro, you need to shut the fuck up. With each passing season, there's a plethora of anime that all kinds of watchers can come to enjoy. Whether they're new and want something chill and fun, or a degenerate who likes trashy garbage, I'm proud to say this summer is no different. We got season 2s from shows fresh off spring and winter, to season 2s from shows that have long been awaiting them. Most of all, there are a bunch of brand new upcoming shows that have been hyped up since their very announcement, and some which make you question how more than one person greenlit the show's premise. To be honest, let's just get into it, there's too much to look at. The Fragrant flower blooms with dignity, in my opinion, is the go-to show this season for beginner romance. This show had more hype going into it than already popular returning shows in its genre, like My Dress Up Darling or the Bunny Girl Senpai series, and for good reason. Set in modern Tokyo's Shinagawa, it's rare to see a show like The Fragrant Flower perfectly depicting that teenage awkwardness. Watching the show felt like sitting out in the park in peak UK summer, where you're out there in the sunshine still worried about whether it'll rain or not. It's more grounded, realistic, and less one-dimensional than the typical romance slice of life you see. Cloverworks, which is a name I'll be repeating a lot, have done a fantastic job visually. The amount of Kaoruko profile pics I've seen on the internet is absurd. There's love and attention poured into these details, and the anime adds its own charms yet remains extremely faithful to the source material. I genuinely think it's everything you could ask for in such a simple yet refreshing original story. As for other original romance, we have There's no freaking way I'll be your lover, unless... also known as Watanare. It's one of those cutesy yet bold love stories between two girls, boasting a model relationship in the form of love bombing, manipulation, dubious consent. You have a pink-haired main character who thinks she's Jane Doe and a rich Ajo-sama deviant character who can't seem to take no as an answer. Smack them together and you have a zest-filled lemon drizzle cake with season finale events happening in episode 3. It's something scientifically referred to as a dumpster fire. Like this one. Or this one. Or this one. Wait, hold on a second. It's been 3 years since it released and I last talked about this show. By the way, check this vid out. With season 1 being extremely well received and popular, season 2 has some big boots to fill. And Cloverworks, you already know what Cloverworks do. I'm gonna explain this any further, but the bubbly liveliness of the show is just as high as ever. I love some of the creative direction when it comes to certain shots. There's so much dynamic visual flair which help enhance the wholesome relationship feel between our main pair Marin and Gojo. Like fuck it bro, y'all don't see studios give Bollywood edits of their characters' voice. My only slight issue is that it's an ecchi rom-com, which basically means that it's a completely normal romance until my parents stumble in my room and see Marin's bunny girl ass out in 4K 60 FPS, and I sit there looking away pretending to be confused like a toddler who shat on the floor and blamed their dog for it. Like okay, it happened 3 years ago with the first season, and this is what I signed up for in the second. I can't really complain. Will some watchers find it weird? Depends on who you ask. Do I specifically enjoy the excessive fan service? Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai returns with a season 2, following the third movie installment of Knapsack Kid. You wouldn't fucking believe me if I told you it was made by Cloverworks. Great show, go watch. Yo, I don't think he's meant to do that. The Summer Hikaru Died is a brand new BL horror story animated by Clover. Wait, no, I'm wrong. It says Cygames. They made that one horse anime. Funnily enough, with how the first few episodes are going, this may just be the dark horse of summer when it comes to high quality shows. The anime doesn't seem to pull its punches, whether it's with the visceral, grotesque first few minutes to the unsettling terror immediately after. All while maintaining a cute boy-love relationship featuring love bombing, manipulation, literal fucking murder. From the visuals to the sound direction, I am astounded by the work Cygames have put into this, considering how I thought 99% of their budget went into the undisputed horse girl monopoly. I'm definitely keeping my eyes on this show this season, as it slowly but surely sets the foundation for what I think could potentially be an amazing slow burn thriller. Dandadan seems to be back in full force, starting off in the exact same manner it did with season 1. No bars held fighting, no bullshit, no clothes. Saru Studio blew me me away with how well they cooked on season 1, and season 2 looks just as promising, continuing the same wackiness, flashiness, and weirdness it boasted initially, and it's an anime anyone should get into if they're willing to let that slide. Speaking of cooking, we have Fermat's kitchen with a mathematical twist as a last-ditch attempt of propaganda for the TMUA. Imagine Food Wars, but instead of someone climaxing when they eat food, they mentally ejaculate via Newtonian revelation on cooking. Some people might think I'm joking when I say this, but this might be the most random pull of a show I found myself seriously enjoying. I'm genuinely interested to see where this goes, not in the way I'd watch a metaphorical plane crash of 100 girls duking it out for one guy per se, but just something unironically fun to watch. We got a slice of life with two girls who just talk in the food court, with absolutely zero product placement whatsoever. We got a power fantasy anime where the strongest character gets kicked out of the strongest party for no reason and in retaliation becomes a chef. That's fucking dope, bro. We got a power fantasy anime where the strongest character gets kicked out of the strongest party for no reason and in retaliation helps another party grow and profit. It kind of sounds mid, I can't lie. We got a power fantasy anime where the strongest character tries to kick himself out of his party for no reason and fails. What? He also looks like the stereotypical 4chan user. Okay. And because of that, he's God. What the fuck? We got a power fantasy anime where the strongest character. Final stop. Imagine playing Civ 6 in your Mahatma Gandhi nuke run, and one day you get sucked into your computer screen and you wake up with Gandhi asking you, what the fuck is wrong with you? Kinda like that, but replace Gandhi with an anime girl who's low-key into that. Wow, man. I expected absolutely nothing from this show, and maybe that's why I'm left with utter surprise and joy when catching up with it. Episodes 4 and 5 completely won me over. Yes, you can kinda tell that budget was slightly lower than average in the show, but I was still immersed in this gamified world it builds upon. There's something about starting from scratch, learning everything with the cast, and being clued in on things we don't know, like our main character's appearance. Why does he look like that? It opened my eyes quite a bit, and it's a reminder to never judge a book by its cover. This, on the other hand, I am 100% judging by its cover. I'm no stranger when it comes to degenerate trash anime. You know, I've seen some shit under the slightly shaky pretext that, in order to appreciate the peak at the top of the mountain, one must understand the beauty that is the ground. As time passes, the line between legally airable television grows blurrier and blurrier by the season. Some shows tend to push the line, some reroute around it. Nukitashi says fuck the line, rubs it out and turns it into a blueprint for the next Bad Dragon product. We have a dystopian world made for plumbers because laying pipe is now the law. Societal norms are corrupt and hedonistic beyond belief. If you end up refusing to do the do, you die. You have an older brother who has a strange hobby with a lesbian sister who secretly likes him, and together they rebel against this corrupt government scheme. And I mean this with 100% genuine thought. The show isn't complete dog shit. Okay guys, calm down a second, just please give me a moment. Don't get me wrong, this is a stupid show, which somehow airs weekly on live Japanese television. I don't know how, but there is a surprising amount of thought put behind the world it creates. It takes a ridiculous idea and approaches it with such an unfound ingenuity in recent time, twisting it into something relatively worth watching. Brought to you by Studio Passione, this anime has some of the higher level production you can see this season, with more dynamic visuals than some fantasy or shonen. Knowing that Passione have worked on classics like High School DxD, Citrus, or Higurashi, it feels like they finally have a franchise that combines all of these and can match their freak. It's an anime that takes pride in making fun of its premise, its world, and the Guna audience who would eat this shit up in a heartbeat, whilst also keeping the action and paying homage to said ethical Gunas by respecting the craft visually. And I can only applaud a piece of media that takes such a creative risk legally and such pride in doing so. Alright, back to normal shows. We have a josei fantasy, maybe medieval-esque romance. You know, I don't really watch this kind of show, mainly because josei anime tend to aim towards older women, in which I am literally neither of those, but I did quite enjoy what I saw, and it's a very chill series to put on the side. The Vending Machine Isekai got greenlit for season 2, and I might be the only person ever who's happy that this happened. I mean, it's a show about a guy who turns into a vending machine, and subsequently wins every fight through constant Deus Ex Machina. Deus Ex Vending Machina. I don't know where the fuck I'm going with this. We have another sleeper pick in the form of Secrets of the Silent Witch, and you guessed it, it's actually not made by Cloverworks. but it's another power fantasy. It does deviate from other shows of its kind, however, focusing on a more slice of life type feel, solving different problems per episode reminiscent to that of a show like Hyoka. I'd compare it to Bocchi the Rock, but someone whose name rhymes with Biguk got there before me. Same with the Gandhi joke, but I swear to god I did that before his vid dropped. Ruri Rocks brings us with what seems to be a love letter to mineralogy, coming from the same studio who brought us Mushoku Tensei, Onomai, and Vispo VTuber promotional vids. Is this literally all they've done? I love shows that appeal to the lowest common denominator, because it pushes boundaries on how we can get people who aren't interested in something like geology into it. And there's just something unique about this show which pulls you in, grabs your attention, and I just can't put my finger on it, but because of that, you just end up learning so much more about a new thing you've never even thought about before. You know what, just fuck these rocks, bro. City the Animation brings us a wacky sitcom featuring humor and artistic charm similar to that of Nichijou, with such an uncanny resemblance to such that it could have been made by the same person. Oh wait, it was. Kyoto Animation do Kyoto Animation things and provide some of the most lively visuals I've seen in a hot minute. The colors, the fluidity, it feels like I'm watching a direct live feed of a country kid's imagination of the city. However, some people might not enjoy the specific type of gag humor City has to offer, so there's always genuinely one of the best comedies out there. I'm being so serious. For action, we still got some good ass picks, like waterbending seems to be back in business with The Water Magician, where we have a guy who dies, reincarnates, and embarks on a journey to be the best water magician. It was kind of self-explanatory. If that's too standard, then we have bloodbending in Tougen Anki, and by bloodbending I mean that. A lot of this show reminds me of Blue Exorcist, and it's a type of show I haven't seen in a while. You know, you have your interesting power system, exaggerated personalities, loud ass main character. I used to hate it, but after not watching a kind of show like this in a while, I quite miss it, and I recommend this if you're new to anime, as it's a simple action show you can binge and get into quickly. We also have Gachiakuta, a highly anticipated adaptation, where when I say I love trash anime, I don't normally mean this, but I want whatever it is. Fresh out the gate, you're thrust into this extreme economic disparity on what is known as the Sphere, where our main character Rudo lives on the poorer side. By the way, I don't know if you're able to tell, so I'll go ahead and label it for you. It's survival of the fittest. Motherfuckers are out for each other. Tons of trash, and more seriously, criminals get thrown off the edge into a seemingly endless void. It's a brutal life in the slums, and especially for Rudo. As the son of a criminal, the discrimination that comes along with such is slightly unfair to say the least. If life couldn't get any worse for him then. This show is grimy, metal, and all the dirty things it really wants to be, and it's a certainly fun watch if you choose to get into it. I'm absolutely loving the show at the moment, and it's probably one of my favourites to come out this season. Clevatess joins the fantasy crew with an absolute tone setter of the first episode, a demon king who lays waste to a kingdom, taking a chance on humanity in an attempt to see whether they're even worth sparing. We have a darker, more gory approach to this genre, in what seems to be an infinite amount of slice of life or power fantasy. I'd say it's a nice change of pace. I feel like more shows need to have these longer first episodes as well. Knowing that Clevatess opens with a 45-minute debut compared to the normal 20, this extra length provides more time to roll with and lay the basis for something exciting like Oshi no Ko. And speaking of slightly longer first episodes, okay, someone tell me where I start with this one. I put off watching Takopi's Original Sin for the longest time because I knew it would be an awful watch despite all of the critical acclaim, all of the high ratings, and all of the hype. And after all 6 episodes were aired, I ended up binging it all in one sitting. And I was right, this show was fucking terrible to watch. But not in the way you think. Takopi's Original Sin brings you only 6 episodes and 2 hours of runtime total, which isn't a lot, but every single minute I watched felt like another 20 added onto it, where I sit down and feel this indescribable amount of tension and unease in what I could say is the most grimy, visceral, and interconnected mess of a show that I've ever seen. The visuals blew me away, coming from the studio that animates MVs for extremely popular Japanese artists Mafu Mafu and Eve. For a first anime, This is a fucking statement to say the least. Everything about this show is raw and unfiltered to the point where it feels almost hyperbolic. It pries your eyes wide open to a disgusting side of reality in a way that leaves you irritated but helpless. There is so much pure frustration in this piece of work, and all you can do is just be swept away with it, create a feeling of hatred towards something. Yet the very moment you find comfort in that, you are immediately jump cut to a scene which questions every emotion you felt up to that point. What makes this show so impactful to me is how brutally honest it tries to be in every scenario, the reality and how the characters react and feel, how gruesome the bullying is presented, and this constant emotional misdirection, which I can only urge you to watch and experience for yourself. Because I can say with all the confidence in the world that you will probably not enjoy this show, and that's fine because it never aimed to be a show you were meant to enjoy in the first place. Rather, it's an experience that might just leave you speechless, question your own humanity in a way that most anime fail to do, and it's probably the only anime that'll make me go outside and sit in the sunlight or something, because I don't even know what to say anymore, the show just fucked me up. What the fuck? Chainsaw Man returns in dominant fashion with an insane amount of hype behind its new movie covering the Reze Arc. If you want an action show that's a little gritty or avant-garde, now's the time to catch up with season 1 of Chainsaw Man, because that show literally made my channel. Demon Slayer returns with Infinity Castle, and with UFO Table's fantastic animation and voice actors like Channing Tatum, this movie is not one to be missed. Bâan the Boundary of Adulthood is probably the most excited I've ever been for any upcoming piece of work. Not because I read the manga or any of the sort, but it's an original piece of work made by the person who inspired me to make anime content in the first place. Do you know how fucking sick that is? Like, imagine if Anthony Fantano was the reason you started reviewing music and all of a sudden he drops an album. It's kinda like that, but jeez man, I'm fucking gassed. Apparently it's mainly self-funded, which means it'll probably be a shorter watch, but visually this looks very exciting, soundtrack sounds amazing, and I think Bâan added in some personal influence from his Thai heritage. I'm very open-minded to see how this project plays out and how it'll be as an experience, but personally I'm just gonna come out and say I'm biased and that I'm literally watching whatever the fuck comes out of this. Cultural exchange with the Game Center girl fulfills the much needed diversity quota of Game Center British people. Shoutouts to Sally Amaki with the main role cast. Last show I've seen with her, she played as Carol and Tomo-chan, and she's also in Bocchi the Rock as a side character. It comes off as a sweet, cutesy romance, and it doesn't aim to be flashy or excite you with certain character moments, just rather a nicer, slower paced watch. Some call it love status quo, I call it unattainable. We have even more slice of life with a dog, raccoon, Tanuki? Not everyone in the world wants a high school melodrama with romance or fallouts, but instead something more relaxing, more mature, focusing on the mundanity of adulthood. With You in the Rain provides exactly that kind of experience, featuring a weird stray thing that talks with cue cards, and probably one of my favorite openings to come out this summer, because like the show, it is pure vibes. It's a laid-back anime with no real overarching problem in the current episode's release, quite literally just being a simple day-to-day story of a novelist and her adopted pet. In some senses, people may consider the pacing to be extremely slow and maybe boring because it is just people doing things. But welcome to Slice of Life, not everyone's life is exciting.
Get out! I don't know what sort of grudge you've got against me, but it ends here! All that we want is a normal life!
Oh, great. You've got the wrong idea. And then if words can't convince you...
This whole sequence happened in 10 minutes. We have a main character, Watari, who overly dotes on his younger sister, and he likes this one girl, Ishihara, in his class, and then all of a sudden an unwanted childhood memory comes back to haunt him in the form of a blonde girl named Tachibana, who transfers to his school, and I guess leading to that first scene I showed you. It lures you in with this rush of emotion, or a sense of happening and action. Just a little bit of feeling in each episode that something exciting is about to happen, and could blossom into more, but eventually, just as quickly as it happened, the high crashes down. You're sat there, nauseated, confused, yet you'll be itching for another hit in the next episode. Notice how I'm describing the show like a fucking shot of heroin. Watching this show genuinely hurt me, not because the animation or voice acting was garbage, in fact it's perfectly normal, but it's really just the nature of the story. I despise this main character, I despise both the girls, and a lot of things that happen in the show piss me off beyond belief. It's cliche with things you've seen in any modern teen romance anime, with a lot of the tension coming from frustrating, and I mean frustrating levels of misunderstanding. There's glimpses of Nisekoi and Masamune-kun's revenge, and if you've kept up to date with my life, then you should know my experiences with both of the shows was not the greatest. It's a weird little love triangle with very polarizing characters, and based on the episodes I've watched, I wouldn't be surprised if it metamorphosed into a fucking harem anime. Speaking of, I feel like I've made it clear about my disdain for harems. It's like football but for degenerates. You pick your favourite love interest for the main character and cheer for them in the hopes they get together in the end or get relegated into the singles league or whatever. It's pretty funny how the harems I've liked aren't even the traditional types. Like, we have a reverse harem and a show that is basically a satire of the genre, and with the amount of quote normal harems I've seen, I've kind of lost hope in this Japanese dream, you know, like The Great Gatsby, but instead of Daisy and Gatsby getting together, it's just a harem anime that's unironically interesting. Dealing with the Mikadono sisters, on the other hand, gives me just a slight glimmer, maybe even a fraction of hope in this godforsaken genre. We have an average guy whose mother is the least average and most successful actor in Japan, and after his mother's death, he moves in with the Mikadono family where he meets 3 girls who are prodigies and 3 very different things. Off the rip, we can tell this story is unrealistic as piss, and that is textbook harem. We already know this shit probably won't happen in real life. The main important part that I enjoy the most is this realistic response to unrealistic situation type thing it has going on, and I feel like this is the closest we've ever gotten to the perfect middle ground of boring story and over-exaggeration. It proves that maybe there is still hope, and more importantly, a reason to keep hoping in this flawed genre. That maybe we could create the normal harem with one guy and multiple girls. Maybe we could just keep believing in this. Are we actually dead ass right now? Yo, thanks so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I've always really wanted to do one of these seasonal type review videos, and God, I don't know how Giga does it every season. Like, it's actually so like crazy how much shit I had to watch in like just a few weeks. When I started making this, I did like do this video before he dropped his latest Summer in a Nutshell video. So a few of the jokes I made got changed after he dropped it because they were just too similar to what he made. It was kind of funny. I hope that I've managed to maintain some sort of originality with this. Who cares? Good video is a good video, right? I mean, I hope it was good. I don't know why I'm like going on a tangent now, but anyways, I hope to do like more stuff in the future because I love content creation. This is like one of the places where I can like edit and present myself the way I want to be. It's awesome. I love it. I hope to do more. Thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! It's fantasy, it's fantasy. But
it's fantasy. I don't know if it's Hikaru or not.
you can! No, you can't! Yes, again!